All right. Good day, Coach. Welcome.
Good day. How you doing?
Not bad, buddy. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the Tactical Take. My name is Riff Clitchards, and this is episode number 2, powered by Tactical Edge Pro Shop. Gain the edge.
Exactly.
Got to be on that tactical edge. Here with me is Coach Phil Riche, newly appointed head coach of the U18 St. John Vito's AAA hockey program. As a player, Phil comes with a plethora of experience. He's a former St. John Sea Dog and Bay Como of the QMJHL. Played some junior A hockey with the Miramichi Timberwolves. And also went to U Sport, Concordia University. He also had 4 seasons as an assistant coach on the St. John Vito's staff, U18. I think in 2017-18, he was the head coach of the St. Stephen Aces. Now, was that junior A hockey?
Yeah, it was.
St. Stephen Aces. He was running that program, and he has a multitude of positions throughout the Team New Brunswick program. And this year, he's part of the U16 Team New Brunswick team that will be going to the Canada Winter Games.
February 2027.
He's also a scout with the Gatineau Olympics. I'm really excited to see what you can do with this program. But I'd like you to take me back to your beginning and what brought you to the Kennebecasis Valley area in New Brunswick.
Well, first of all, thanks, Cliff, for having me on. I'm excited. It's a great project, and I hope continues on that way. And I met my wife when I was playing with the Sea Dogs. I was a 17-year-old kid, just stayed together, and even after I got traded. And then we moved back a little bit, and I spent the summer here as a teenager with my in-laws and his parents, and kind of found a niche of working for my father-in-law. Now, at the time he wasn't, but it just kind of never left after. And my wife and I in October will be 18 years that we're together, and we'll be 13 years married in July. So I sure did. I did find a good one, and she very appreciative of allowing me to pursue my passion all the time, and she's very supportive on that.
Super important to find one that will support your endeavors. That's for sure. There we go. That's really cool. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from La Chute in Quebec, just north of Montreal, which is literally halfway in between Montreal and Gatineau on the Quebec side.
Okay.
On the Ottawa River side. So it's just, I played my U18, U15 growing up, U18 in the region near my parents' house, and got drafted here and by the Sea Dogs, and the rest is history. And just kind of bounced around a little bit with Miramichi, and we've been home since the season of 2017-18. So
would you say that this is the final destination for you? You're planting your roots here?
Definitely, yeah. No, there's nowhere else I'd rather be than in the valley.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a good spot. I'm glad you made your way here, and I've had a chance to meet you. And and as I said, I'm pretty excited to see what you can do with the hockey program and continue to develop the young athletes around here and try to push them forward. Your draft process, when that was going on, can you just tell me a little bit about that? I mean, I know it's many years ago, but was that like is it something that you knew that you were working towards? Was there a plan to kind of get to that point where you knew you were going to be drafted? Like, did you have agents or advisors and that type of stuff?
I was drafted the same year as Simon Després got drafted first overall here in St. John. And big name. Yeah. And the second name who was drafted in that year with me in St. John was Michael Kirkpatrick. And then it was me. It was kind of a different path for me, as my dad did all the interviews for me. It was not more about first of all, I couldn't speak English at that point.
Would make it tough.
And I wanted to go somewhere where I could learn English, which was very important for me. And I said to my dad and my advisor, and when the Sea Dogs showed a lot of interest, and we went through the process and just hope that I'd get drafted here, and it worked out that way, but it could have worked out in any different way also, like any other team. But I'm very fortunate that I was drafted here, and now made a life out of it too, right? So a younger brother, and he played in the league for 5 years, all in the QMJHL for 5 years also. So I think it was easier for my brother in the process and my parents, I think. But for me, I think it was like an unknown all the time because we had never been through it. Even though you ask questions and you get advice from great agents from Norm Conway and Mark Levine, it was tough, I guess. It was just not knowing what to do or which direction it would take, I guess.
Kudos to you to coming to this province barely being able to speak English. I've several friends that have gone through the same thing through my old career. I always found that kind of interesting and a little bit mind-blowing, actually, that they would uproot like that and come to a place where they had to learn the language on the fly. One of my best friends, like 3 years into our relationship, he told me that the first year of us hanging out, half the time he didn't know what I was saying. He would just go, yeah, and just kind of agree with me, right? But he had no clue what was going on. And now he's pretty fluent, right? He still has the heavy French accent, but yeah, good on you guys for doing that. I would have loved something like that.
My first 3 months in St. John, my billet, kudos to Jim and Nancy. It was literally by hand sign. Like you said, just like
Sign language.
Sign, and just like nodding the head, yes, no. I just like basically it was yes, no, toaster. That's basically all I knew at that point. But
yes, no, toaster.
Yeah, it's like when you dive into an environment that's fully English at one point, you have no choice to.
That's the way, honestly,
to learn, because I wasn't super great in English at school, so it wasn't like it was a little tough at first. The first 3 months were tough, but after that, it got easier. And obviously, there's some words I still at this point that I can't say, and I avoid to use them in sentences because I know I can't pronounce them, and it's just my French accent that way. Well, the banners in the provincial championships, tournaments, and Atlantic Championship, national championships are always great, but I think it starts with having the right people around, empowering the staff and every member of the organization into a role where they can thrive and to be at their best to help the players develop. And I think that's what my goal is right now. It came quick being appointed when the offer came on the table, and it came super quick and quick turnaround within the ID camp that we were having a few weeks ago. So it was just kind of chaotic couple weeks to lay out a plan. The plan we're still not working on it, but we're still defining some moment. But for me, I think it's to empower the people who are around, put them in the best situation to be successful, and it will just help our players and to develop as quick as possible and to make them become a team as quick as possible.
For sure. Excellent. Yeah. Speaking of your staff, can you tell me who's on your staff?
Yeah, Marielle Annam, she'll be returning. She was on the staff last year. Marielle coached a few years with U15 hockey. She has a lot of experience in international hockey with women's U18 with Hockey Canada, and she has a lot of background into ball hockey with Ball Hockey Canada. And she's a tremendous asset to our team. She's a teacher. She's great with the kids. She's got a lot of knowledge with the game too. Yeah, so I'm very fortunate. We're very fortunate to have her back on the staff. And the other assistant coach is Mark Rinaldi. He's originally from Massachusetts. He moved here a few years ago, wanted to get back into hockey. He was the head coach for 12 years at the club team at Harvard University.
Okay.
Very, very, very knowledgeable coach. He just brings a different vision. Doesn't know a lot of the players, which just get a fresh set of eyes on the kids who are around the programs, and the kids that will be coming up is brand new for him. So fresh eyes and to kind of see maybe things that we take for granted, and we've been seeing those players for a very long time that we kind of start missing. And he brings a fresh and great energy around the rink. And to round it out for our goalies, it would be Matt Murphy, which I know for a very long time, for almost 20 years, playing against each other in juniors and U18 hockey. Yeah, who have been working with us with the Rangers U15 for the last 2 years as the goalie coach. He will keep on going with the goalies with the U18 program, and we'll round out our staff and maybe sprinkle in a couple guys that I can't name right now. It's more it will be for player development, like on
skill sessions,
and bring guys to make them look up to them. They just come to practice and be involved, but they just won't. I want them to be able to install their knowledge to our kids also. So,
sure. Yeah. Sounds like you have a good mix. Well, I like to hear that you have a builder. You're in construction, so you build stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You methodically build things. You have a teacher, someone that can know how to deal with all the different, all the different attitudes, all the different personalities that they're going to encounter. And like Matt Murphy is a gem. I've known him only for the last year, but I've had a chance to meet him and his wife and his little newborn son. And old Murph hooks me up every once in a while, so it's fun. I like Murphy a lot. And Mark, like that fresh set of eyes, I guess so, right? Like, you got a guy coming in. He's from the U.S., right?
He's from the U.S.
He's got maybe a vision, or he probably went through the U.S. pathway of development, right? So maybe he has a little bit of knowledge there that could be beneficial for sure, right? Like it's nice to see that there's a really good mix and maybe shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was very important for me to, like, I know my weaknesses as a coach, and this is where you need to bring people on. For me to build a successful staff, you have to surround yourself with that complements yourself.
Yeah.
I know what I'm good at, I know what I can work on, and I know what I lack. So, like, to put those pieces all together and with different people and allow them to do what they do best, I think that's what will bring us a lot of success down the road.
I fully agree with that. It is important to delegate sometimes and be okay having weaknesses, right? Well, you can't be an expert at everything. And you sitting here saying that's good for the kids to hear, right? It's good for the young athletes out there to hear that. Like, I tell my boy all the time that every coach you come across, yeah, maybe they're not the best at everything, but
definitely, I think that like I have many coaches throughout my career and playing and even like being around other coaches while I'm learning to be when I was a young coach, and you see what works, what doesn't work, and I think it's just kind of applying it and to bring it to your philosophy and the way you want to build teams around, and you try it, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, well, you kind of reshape it and retool it and go from there. And if it really doesn't work, then this is where you got to change path. But I think it's very important to surround ourselves with the people that you think you trust first, and that has other asset that you may not have.
Is it the executive of the Vitoes that would have reached out to you to get you involved? Was that out of nowhere for you?
It was. It was a little bit out of nowhere. Again, and no one, like, I've been with the organization before, and I kind of took a step back from there for a few years and started the Rangers with Robbie, and I like what I'm doing, but I think my wife was starting to see it. I was starting to pace around the house, not being behind the bench. And then when we went to New Hampshire last winter in February with the Rangers, I was behind the bench as their coaches Robbie and I were there, and we couldn't make it because of work. I don't know. It was it was the injection of the adrenaline of even if they were great games, and even though it was just a showcase, and we didn't win anything at the end of the day. It was just, I don't know, the hitch got back to me to be behind the bench, and I was like, I'd like to start doing it again. And I even said it to my wife when I walked back in the house when we got back from New Hampshire, and I was like, I'd love to be behind the bench again. That was so much fun. So from there, and I guess the opportunity came around, and it was just great timing, and being away from behind the bench for 3 to 4 years, I think really gave me another perspective also, how to see the game, how to approach the game, watching our coaches with U15, our staff doing a tremendous job and just helping them through that way. But you're also paying attention to maybe other details that when you're behind the bench all the time, you may miss or things. So kind of see the other side on the administrative side of hockey operation, I guess, and being always fully in the moment with the 20 players. Yeah, it just kind of, I was starting to miss being by the bench, so that's why when the opportunity came around, I was super thrilled about it.
Excellent. I'm glad you said that. It was like you got a little whiff of the smelling salt when you got behind that bench. So he's talking about, we went down to the Seacoast Performance Academy in New Hampshire. And what a cool facility that was. It was my first time having an opportunity to see anything like that. And seeing these prep school kids or academy kids walking around, going to class with their lowers still on and their skates still attached. Like they had rubber flooring throughout the whole building. And, the ice times were built right into their school day. It was really cool. So these kids, from my understanding, are on the ice, let's call it 3 times minimum a day, with like free skates in between classes, all based on whether or not they're caught up with their schooling, et cetera, et cetera. But we went down there on a travel day and played that evening. And I think the boys showed up maybe a little with heavy legs, a little bit tired, and they were a little flat. But you were still drilling them and had them buzzing, right? They were doing well. They were in the game, and it was a close one. And then the following day, I don't know what you did there, but you come out of that room and the boys hit the ice real focused and had them flying, right? It's some of the best hockey that the Southern Rangers were playing. Mind you, we had a great season, but it was cool to see you take charge on the bench there, and the boys bought in real quick and were flying around. And I wouldn't say we put it to the Seacoast Academy at all, but like we were in a tough game against them, and it was a heavy hitting game, and it was fun.
Yeah, the competition was fantastic. Yeah, you're right about the travel day of the game. The first game was a little, I kind of was expecting it. Traveling, excitement of going somewhere new and not knowing what to expect, and it was a fantastic game, the first one, and I thought the next day, really, I didn't do anything different that our coaches were doing, and that was great for us to bring the kids to see it and different path. It was great 2 days for sure.
Coach, will you or are you open to forming a bit of a competitive or collaborative relationship with the Ross A. Netherwood hockey program to add to the overall development? Like, has there been any discussion with their program to maybe have some joint practices or scrimmages together to try to, bolster both programs?
As for right now, I haven't had time to talk to Jeff about it, but it's something that was on my mind for sure. It's something I would like. I can remember a few years when my last time around with the Beatles, when I was an assistant coach with Alex Carter, we played them a time at the Qplex one day, and I think we have to maximize like their proximity. Being one of the most competitive schools in the country, they're literally 10 minutes away from the Qplex. So why are we not taking advantage of making our kids better by, if schedules allows us to play games against them? 100%. It's something that, but I'm saying this, but I haven't talked to Jeff, and maybe he's not thinking the same thing. But
at least you're open to it, right?
But I'm definitely. It's something that Jeff and I would have to have a conversation. But I'm definitely open to it because I think it would just be great for the kids and just on their development pathways to start with.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with that, and I like to hear that. It's kind of cool, and it would be good to see. I'm always secretly waiting to see them play each other, right? And I think it would be a great game, and they will push each other, right? There's talent on both sides, and you only get better playing tough competition.
And you just and why not? Like I said earlier, the proximity and being able to utilize each other for programs. I think it could be only beneficial for both of us.
Excellent. What's the identity that you're looking to have the Vitos have this season, or by the end of the year? What is the team identity that you're aiming for?
Me, it's I'm a hard worker. Our work ethic is a key. We will not get outwork whatsoever. We will never get outwork, and we will play a lot of pace. So for me, it would be respect, pace, work ethic.
I like it.
Those three, I think they're you can't have a successful season without having a combination of those three or all three of them.
Those would be your non-negotiables, right?
And the respect isn't just on the ice. It's the off ice, how to conduct themselves also. So it's not just about being on the ice and be respectful to where the opponent we're playing is, be respectful to anybody who's around, like any board members, rink attendant, just like little kids who are around from coming off the ice. It just those are things that are super important to me.
Do you have your mitts into the U16 program also, or are they kind of two separate entities?
Well, I have complete autonomy on the U18 side, Colin, and but we work together very closely to have both programs be very successful, to make sure that we're on the same page and teaching the same thing, the same non-negotiable. So there's a very smooth transition that when the U16 players are following year moving up, or even just as an affiliate coming up for a couple games for a stretch of the season, there's a very easy, seamless transition and don't have to start from brand new.
Yeah, that's important. That's, in my mind, I thought that was part of the process, right? The pyramid of development, right? You work your way through, and if you can remain in that scene or at that level, the systems kind of play onto each other, and it probably once you reach that new 18 stage, everything comes a little bit easier because you've been groomed.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's even with the Rangers, me being connected to the Rangers, it helps. It will help the pyramid to make the easiest transition down to U16 and U18, just because the non-negotiables, they don't really change from as soon as they walk into U15 until they leave U18. So I think it's very beneficial for us down the road.
I like it. You believe that you truly can develop players while chasing wins?
I do. I do. As much as wins are important, I will take a loss or an overtime loss, any kind of loss, or if our players will get better down the road. I will put players in a situation that maybe down the road may not be there, and they will be called upon to be in those situations. And I think it's very important for all our players to know situations that you never know what a season can bring. It can bring an injuries, and when a top guy goes, or get called up to major junior for the rest of the year, or junior A, or just for a long extended period of time, and it just is so unpredictable. And I think you can't just put somebody in a role and just not expend it. I think that's not development at all. I think you got to push their limits to see what they're capable of, and putting them in every situation possible to be able to be successul, and they'll fail. And to be honest, I want them to fail at times.
That's how you get better, I think.
Not at times. I want them to fail, because if we fail 2 to 3 times, they'll learn, and they'll say, "Oh no, this time this is not going to happen." I really think that all players need to fail in order to get better, and until the player understands that, I think there's a blockage in development of players, that it's okay to fail. Because if you think that no, it has to be perfect all the time, the ceiling, it gets really low, and it doesn't get expanded. But the second that a player realizes and he's okay about, even in a game or in a practice, to fail, I think this is where you start making a lot of strides, and a lot of strides really, really quick. Yeah.
That's great. And as a hockey dad, I'm not hoping that my child fails, but I like when he's put in compromised positions. Like, I like when, as a defenseman, the play breaks down on the offensive end, and a guy like Max McCarthy or one of these top end forwards gets loose and put him in isolated situation. I'm like, perfect. Like, let's go. Let's see what he can do, right? He'll either win it, or he'll do an okay job, or if he completely fails, maybe he'll learn a little something like, I can't use that move with that type of player, or I really need to respect playing my dots and keeping my angles right? Like, I like that when they fail, because, man, that's my kid's kind of been slowly growing, and I think he's learned a lot from his failures throughout U13 all the way through, right? That's kind of how you build.
Yeah, this is where it's this, and as much many times you're on the ice and practicing those situations that you think may happen, and to help you, yes, it's great to do them. Maybe you want to do them as much as repetition, but until you're put into a game that is meaningful, and you have to do the job that you've been practicing, but on like you want to practice like you play, yes, but there's certain things that you, no matter what, you can't replicate in game situation while you're playing the game. So for me, I think that's why I'm okay with players failing during game. Like you never go a 60-minute game without making mistakes.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's
pretty hard to do.
It's pretty hard to do. So it's kind of, let's learn it. Like, yeah, game 3 of the season, I think if you failed 3 times, I'm okay with that.
It's built from
it. Then it's how we're going to return and come back from it at the end of the day.
Do you think it's important to, I mean, we don't want kids to be cut from things, but do you think it's important as an athlete to be told no at some point, or to not make the team, to have some sort of adversity?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I think that's where at times hockey has become, every parents and every player want guarantee. Life is a lot like hockey. There's not many guarantees in life. You have to work for what you have to put the work in order to be successful at anything you want to do. And I think pushing through of one of guarantees is it can only hurt, because at first I don't think it becomes, you don't develop players with loyalty to programs. They want to just jump the ship, and they always think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. So for me, I think it's very important for them to be able to face adversity.
Yeah.
I was cut throughout my years, and I just came back.
Like it.
I just came back. Keep pushing. You keep knocking on the door until really they tell you no or go away. So for me, I think it's very important for players to understand, like, to be, I think Jeff talked about this last week too, but being respectful of the process.
Yeah.
Not to rush it, because it's, I never seen, you don't play in the NHL at 15 years old.
No.
So you got to wait till your draft year, your second year of major junior, in order to get drafted. So it's like, you don't sign a contract in the NHL when you're 11. So it's just trust the process, be okay with failures. Again, it goes back to being able to fail and how you come back to it. So it's guarantees for me. It's getting hard.
There are no.
It's just, for me, it's just like, you want to develop those kids also to be the best hockey player they can be, but also the best human being. After hockey, what they can, like, each and single one of them will have a life, and they will be told no at some point. And how will they react to that? Just going to cry, or just try to go for another job, or it's just, it's okay to fail.
Perfect. All right, Coach, let's jump into something else. What's something a young hockey player needs to hear, but probably won't like?
What? For me, it's the truth. It's the truth. As a coach, and even in life, with my day-to-day job, it's black or white. There's no gray area. So I think kids are scared to wanted to hear the truth, and because they think either makes them a bad hockey player, mostly a bad hockey player, but it's just like, every coaches have the heart of every kid development and their passion. So it's kind of, as long as they don't want to hear it, but you have to tell them the truth.
I like that. Yeah. That's a real good answer. They do need to hear the truth, right? You need to know that you suck at something and you need to get better at it, or you won't progress in this aspect of your life or game because you're not putting in the work at something, right? They need that truth. The hard truths can benefit a young athlete or any human. I like.
Yeah, it goes both ways. It's not just for hockey; it's for life.
Oh, how do you decide who you trust in a big moment, Coach?
How do I decide how to trust someone in a big moment? Guys have been there, that have done it multiple times throughout the year. When you're never gonna send somebody that is never. It's not fair to anybody to put someone in a situation they've never been before. So, but that's where you go back, and throughout the course of a season, you put guys in those situations and see what they can do. But yeah, I think you have to put guys that have been there and done it and were successful, even if they fail multiple times, you know, like they'll understand the moment when they're called upon, and they'll just, this time I can't, like, this is it. It's go time. So I think it's players that have been there before.
Like it. What tells you a player gets it, and when do you believe a player is ready for the next level?
Player is ready for the next level. It's not one thing. It's a multiple little actions throughout the course of a season, over even off season. Just the way, like at times, like you see some guys like start to click. Like, I'm not gonna name names, but like last year we had a player with the Rangers, and like being around so much, like Christmas, and it was like a light when they flicked the switch.
Yep.
Started to see him with his foam roller. Start to see, like, he's starting to bulk up. He's starting to do the low diesel. He showed up to practice and he just didn't put his gear. He went out for a run, went out for some stretches, and you could tell, like, he was like in the stall. There's always some great snacks, like paying attention to details. After practice, he didn't just rush out. It was a little stretch, and those are cumulative. That at one point, like, it translates from off ice to on ice, and it's just like, whoa, this is like, okay, yeah, he's starting to get it, and he's ready to take the next level, and just to kind of, and then the sky is the limit from there. I think it's it's just a lot of mini actions all piled up together that will indicate you that the player is ready for the next level for sure.
What's the fastest way to get benched on a Phil Richer team?
Being disrespectful.
Hard work or talent? Which wins?
Hard work.
Okay. What's one habit that instantly makes a player stand out? Starts, all right, I like that. What's one thing players do that drives you crazy?
It goes with the last one a little bit, is flybys and not using their stick properly. Just not stopping and starts and on pucks. Just going for a 25-foot loop after the puck. I call it the WestJet, the Airbus. Their WestJet Airbus. They go for a big old loop. It takes a while for a big 737 to turn. So
you want to be a fighter jet, right?
Yeah,
you got to make some quick maneuvers.
Yeah, being a 737 airplane, that I don't like that.
It's not the way.
That is not the way. Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. I like that a lot, actually. The stops and starts. You'd be a good police officer, checking that stop sign, making sure full stop. Okay, go. None of this flyby, roll through stuff. That's funny.
I'm guilty of doing those once in a while.
The old kind of quick check.
Quick
good
look,
enough.
let's go.
All right. Jump into some of the tougher questions that I've gotten from the community and whatnot. I'd like to just pick your brain a little bit and see how you think about this as a coach. Do you worry that some of the next great Canadian players may never be discovered simply because the cost of the game has become far too high in hockey?
It's certainly a hot topic. Do I worry? Yes. Am I concerned? Yes. But at the same way, there's always programs, financial aids, and any level that are available if somehow it gets that tough for a player or family. Yes, I mean that they might not be able to do as many extras, but I think if you're that good, that skill, and a good hockey player, everything will, like, it's not a fairy tale, but I'm not trying to say that, but it's just, I think it will work out for them.
Okay.
But it is a hot topic, and it is, and the amount of time and effort and money that parents and families spend into hockey, and I'm grateful my parents have done it too. That was 20 years ago when my parents were both of us playing at U18 at the same time.
Yeah.
So we're being 18 months apart, me and my brother. So the sacrifice are enormous. It is a little concerning, but I think there's always a way around.
And there is a way. You're right on that. And I think, and I know that a lot of parents maybe don't know about that. They don't know that there are opportunities out there for them and the programs that can help them. I specifically had a conversation with one young athlete. Well, I had the conversation with his parents, but I chatted with them. They're friends of mine, so it was an easy conversation, right? It's hard to put your ego aside or want to look for handouts or look for help, right? Like, there's a lot of pride in a family,
Definitely.
and they're not going to go reach out. But I was like, this kid is good. I'm like, he's too good to be playing at this level. I believe that he should get a look. Like, I'm like, he could, put these $7,000, $5,000 registration fees and, camps and stuff on top of that. It's just too much for a lot of people. But for anybody listening, if you are interested in looking at some programs out there, Pro Kids is a huge one. Pro Kids, St. John, Hampton. A buddy of mine is now, I think, the director of Pro Kids, Bradford Rogers, and I've talked to him about this. I'm like, is there opportunity? And a lot of time I'll ask that, is there an opportunity for a kid that is at, the competitive AAA level or whatever? Is there opportunity for them, even if their financial means are decent, but not great, right? Like, there's a lot of blue collar, middle class people that, in theory, should have the money for
this and
this and that or hockey, but they don't because it's all eaten up, right? Those people still qualify. It's all circumstantial, but they will assess and look at those situations, right? So, anyways, there are options out there. There's help cops, help kids. That's a program out of here in the Hampton Rossay area. They have a lot of fundraising. They do Battle of the Badges every year, fire versus cops, and all that money is just being built and built and built in this account, waiting for someone to ask, right? But you have to put the pride aside and ask, and especially if you feel like that your child has the ability there, right?
And all those programs also, they're great, and like financial aid and also like they're all anonymous, so nobody, like, I know it's hard, and it's for, like you said, like, people put their pride aside because you think that it's not the right thing to do, but like it's out there.
Yeah, that's great. Good. Have you ever seen a talented kid leave hockey because of the cost of the sport?
Been coaching for 12 years, 12, 13 years, and even while I was playing, no, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Okay. From a coach's perspective, is advancement in hockey strictly performance-based, or are there other factors behind the scenes that players and parents might not always know about?
Performance-based for sure, but also it's how you are as a person. There's a law, like when I sit in our meetings with all our regional scouts and our GM, it's about having good people around, good persons. It will influence a lot. That's a big factor for me. I know in Gatineau, for us to have good people around and good persons, it actually will speed up your advancement at times. If sometimes maybe your performance is not as great, but my God, you're a great person, and you want to learn, and you may not have the greatest season in the past, but he's putting the work, he's doing all the little things, and being a good person outside the ice will lead them forward. On the politics side, I mean, like, there's always going to be politics, but in all my years at HMB with Hockey New Brunswick, it's all like, there is politics maybe at the lower level, but the high performance with the U14, U15, U16, like, have been involved for the last 10 years. We're all there to have the best 20 kids.
Yeah.
To put the best teams on the ice, and it's politics never really played a role on that side. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. I like that you mentioned that it's, that's life. There are politics in life, right? There are networks, things, that it's just the way humans are, right? So there are little things that can help people along, connections and networks and stuff like that. But being a good person's huge, right? Like, showing that you are coachable, showing that you are there for your teammate, or knowing that a family, they're, seemingly good people and aren't going to rock the boat too much and cause drama. Those things they all go into it, I guess, in the end.
They go into it's becoming a huge factor.
Okay.
More than as much as performance.
Cool. I like it, Coach. So I want to jump into scouting. You are a scout for who is it again?
Yeah.
The Gatineau Olympics. Now, obviously, your pedigree makes it not easy to become a scout, but how does that happen? How do they reach out to you, or how did you become a scout?
Well, that's something I wanted to do for a very long time. As soon as I stopped playing, I started reaching out to teams, and you want to talk about politics, like in the last questions. This is almost where who you know will get you in the door. I was asking, and there's not really grabbing any hold, and there was some interest, but like 7 years ago, on that January, I was at the Ice Jam. I was with the U18 Rivermen, and we were just playing a game, and one of my old coaches, who was from Quebec, he was scouting for Gatineau, and came to see me. I hadn't seen him in 10, 12 years, and since I was in U14, and he's like, "Hey, Phil, we don't have anybody anymore in New Brunswick being a regional scout.
Yep.
Would you be able to, would you be interested?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And then from then, and it was just like, the GM called me the next week, and let's go. Had a meeting, quick chat with them, and the rest is history. And I've been with the organization for 7 years, so okay. I've been through a lot of 4 GMs and 3 head scouts since. But I always were able to keep my foot in the door in Gatineau. And for me, growing up, it was kind of I didn't get to play for Gatineau because I played in St. John, but like I'm so close to Gatineau where I'm from.
Yeah.
It was like my hometown team. So it was kind of, I cheered for them as a kid, and I just it was kind of cool. I get to work and even though I'm 1,200 kilometers away. So I've been the last 7 years an Atlantic regional scout for Gatineau. So that's really how it started. It was just a small conversation at the Ice Jam on a January, because one of the fella before me in New Brunswick kind of took a step back because of family, and it was just it was getting a little too much for him, and they were just looking for someone. It just happened on the staff. One of my minor hockey coach was on the staff as a scout for the Quebec region and Montreal region. So it's just that's how I got into scouting.
So when you're in, great. Now, do you sit down and meet with like the general manager and the head scout? And is there like a template? Like, do they send you out specifically saying, "Hey, Phil, like I need you to go out in Eastern Canada, go check out the Ice Jam, go check out the Monctonian. This is what we're looking for. We need a centerman, and we're looking for these metrics. Go out and look for it." Like when you go to these places, are you just looking at the ice as a whole, kind of seeing if there's anybody that stands off the sheet? Are you looking at stats? Are you there specifically to see one player?
It depends. Like early on, like obviously, like we'll have meetings. Like when we get to training camp, that's one of the rare few times in the year that we, the GM and all the staff, the scouting staff, get to sit together in the room, and except for the draft and another time of the year, like the GM will send us like what you would like, the wish list of how to build a hockey. He wants to build his hockey team and go from there. And then but when I go to the rink, like, early on, it's easy to pick the first rounder. It's easy to see the best player. That's the easy job. That's the easiest part of my job. Like at times you can see he's right away. It's after, like when he gets to the grind of November, December, January, when you have starting to see players 5, 6 times, 7 times. And now what I look for is body language when the puck is not near them. Even on the bench, how they react after a bad play off the bench, when they go back to the bench. Those are all little things that I look for, and I know everybody looks for. And there's a lot of times like, yeah, I'm there, but I'm watching 90% of the bench more than I'm watching what's going on the ice when it gets to a certain time of the year.
Interesting, right? That's something that, I mean, you hear about it, but I didn't know how important that is, right? The first rounders might stand out. They look like they have a pop in their game. They really stand out. But then the hard part is finding the mid-round guys or the late-round guys or the guys that will be invited as, I'll call it a free agent, to come out and grind and try to earn their spot, right?
Not imaginate, but to foresee what their ceiling can be.
Yeah, cool. I like it. That's interesting. I suppose, like when you say that you're looking at, you go to scout and you've seen sample size of players multiple times, assuming you're looking for consistency too, right?
Yes.
Like, is this guy putting in the same product every night? Is it can I rely on this player, or you know what to expect? It makes it easier to.
Or is he a roller coaster?
Yeah.
Sometimes in the past, I've been to the games, and it's be, what is he going to give us today?
Yeah. Which player are we going to get?
Yeah. Are we going to see player A, player B, or player C? So it's kind of, that's the fun aspect of the game. And then when you get to sit down with all the other staff members of your group and the scout and see to make sure I'm not going off the rails here. Am I right on this one? Am I seeing the same thing as everybody else? Or like, obviously everybody has their opinions, and this is how we come about to bring and build a list from there is pretty cool, that on the background.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Cool. You feel like the U16 league in New Brunswick, it just kind of developed. I don't know. Maybe you know more. Like, I feel like it's just starting to develop now. So Fredericton added a U16 AAA team in the northern region. Now there's a U16 AAA team. Moncton has one, and St. John Vito's. Having those two others added to the league is huge. But the league is predominantly based out of Nova Scotia. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. PEI teams. It seems like through the hockey community, or I'll call it the hockey dads, the U16 league is looked at as less than. It's like, if you don't make U18, the U16 isn't worth it. It's a waste of money. Go play high school and just enjoy your time, because it's the end of the road. I get the feeling just from hearing people talk about it that it's viewed as, well, that's the end of the road for you. Do you have that? You obviously don't have that sense, but what's your view of the league? And do you think that that's how people have looked at the league? And is there a way to change that?
I think in the past, they have looked that way. The Nova Scotia U16 League, which is with PEI and New Brunswick now, have done a tremendous job of developing players to stay in the high performance pathway.
Yeah.
To be able to make the jump the following year to U18. As bad as this sound, like, it seems like when you get to high school, you just disappear. It just like you kind of, and we want to retain the players to the highest level as possible. I think the mindset has changed with the work of Moncton, St. John, and with the U16. I think I've noticed a huge difference in the vision of people, especially in the region, about the U16.
Yeah.
Than it was maybe 8 years ago.
Perfect.
But it all comes with consistency of like having who's in the staff, how are we developing players is the next level. Also, graduating players from the U16 level to the U18 level. Yep. I think there's got to be a connectivity there between those two programs in order to keep the mindset trending in the right direction.
Perfect.
To be the place to play, because it is the place to play. Still, like, people think their career's done after the first year and you don't make U18. Absolutely not. It's just exactly, and yeah, if you want to go away, for me, I don't think there's any reason to go away if you don't make a U18 team when you have a successful and well-established U16 program. Especially
plenty of stories out there of guys that have grinded their way in. Some players just need a little bit more time.
Because it's almost like 4-year gap in between.
Big Dax Frazier, the captain of the team.
Yeah.
Like, a bit of a mutant on the ice, right? Grinder. Like, him taking runs at your 14-year-old first year. It's a little scary down the boards. I love the Montreal Canadiens. I love watching them. They're doing phenomenal. But there's sometimes I'm like, boys, just put the puck on net. Like, just move it. Constantly looking for the perfect shot lane.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm a duster and I don't know hockey, so I'm always like, just shoot the puck, put it on net, right? But my son checks me all the time. He's like, I'm not just gonna shoot it if there's no shot line laying and bounce it off on his shin pad or whatever. I'm like, well, move your feet. That's get away from them. Create space. I love it. It's fun. Skill or toughness? Mix of both. I'll take that. D1 hockey or the CHL? CHL.
Mix of both.
Which one has more sty? You like the fishbowl, the nice bubble, or full? Come on, coach. Let's get the bubble. Can we make the bubble relevant? All right. Here's my deal, man. I'm sick. I just spent 10 grand or whatever on my kid's teeth. And for some reason, it's like a badge of honor for hockey players. It's like, I can't wait to go lose my teeth. I'm like, no, I just paid for these things. And why can't, let's get the fishbowl all the way to the NHL and make it cool. Full flow or buzz cut?
No.
Yes, man.
No. Well, I'm bald, but I like the
That's one drill that every player should be doing to get better at their game.
Angling off the puck.
Okay.
Angling. I know it requires 2 players
to sleep. I don't think they realize that. Nope. I don't think a lot of kids realize how important phase of going through puberty or all that happening. Yep. Right, the bones are growing, the muscles are growing. The muscles need to
sleep is in rest, I guess.
Get into a couple bench moment decisions, Coach. When the game starts slipping away from you, what's the first thing you look at behind?
To give us a spark, I would go back to guys that are, like, that brings a lot of energy. If that doesn't work, and I'm gonna say it, but my goalie always know that if I don't like using the timeout, just to whip the guys, the goalies would figure it out fairly quick that they
rejuvenate
need that.
The boys.
Yeah, they need a break. So
how do you decide if you reward with effort or production?
It goes back to what I said earlier. If your best player and your top goal scorer doesn't have it,
you okay with sitting a guy like that?
Yeah, and kind of not being in the doghouse, but being not the version of just not on for that night. Sends a message.
I like it.
Sends a message.
What is that message?
It just that everybody makes it accountable for them. Like you're not just because you're the goal scorer that I can trust somebody else. Maybe somebody else is able to put it in the net too. That you have to be on every night. And when you're at the rink, I love to have fun. But when I'm at the rink, it's time to work. It's business. And
caller.
Yeah, it's like
what's the smallest tactical
I'm a guy
adjustment
who loves to have as much fun as everybody else.
But
When we're at the rink and either a practice or a game, it's on, baby. I think, especially at that age, at times, like, we focus so much in adjustments and in-game adjustments without having time to review them. And it's just like, okay, we're going to do this. And I feel like sometimes it's just not, it can be a little distracting because they'll think too much about it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can just be a juggling of lines. Just mix it up, one guy or two, like just put another guy who's been having a great game with maybe that top line and put him in up there for a couple shifts, and that kind of just sparks everybody. But yeah, there is tactical advantage. Like, obviously you'll make adjustment, but constantly making adjustment on the ice, behind the bench while the play is happening, they have so much to focus on. At times, I think it becomes, there's a balance there of how much teaching you can do behind the bench. Feedback, that's irrelevant to the feedback.
Who's the best coach you ever had?
My U18 coach.
And what made them great?
Who's now currently is funny. He works with us in Gatineau too. Dave Terrio.
Okay.
Dave was super hard in practice. I don't think we wouldn't be able to do 2 reps without having a whistle because the execution wasn't there. How he wanted us to execute in practice, and it just became such a habit that's just how it is now. Like, you just, for me, it needs to be executed the right way. I think the hard work that he ingrained in us, and I talk to him about it all the time. I'm like, Dave, like, the values and the hard work ethic that you put into us. Boy, I hated you at that time. But now looking back, it
pays dividends for sure. Totally that type of hard work, and it allows you to play fast and not think. Right, you can play fast and execute without overthinking stuff and getting trapped in your head. I like it.
Yeah, because it just
comes
natural.
Any specific moment that you'll never forget as a coach? Big win, huge loss, anything?
When I was coaching with Riverman, we had struggling seasons. We didn't have many wins that year, and we came into the Monctonian that year, and we ended up losing in the semifinal, but the quarterfinal game was against the Halifax Max. It ended up being our third game of the day. Now I remember that game, and we were down like 3-0 really early. It was our third game of the day, and I remember our captain Chris Ferrand, which is all played in the 2015 Canada Games team. I remember he stood up on the bench and he goes, I'm gonna say the word, but basically it was, "We will come back, and I will win this in overtime, and we'll go tomorrow morning again." And ended up having 2 goals and 2 assists, including the winner in overtime. And it was funny because as soon as he scored, it was because he knew we were playing the 9 a.m. the next morning, and it was getting to be like, I think it was second overtime actually. It was a long one. It was the third game of the day and second overtime. It was probably 11:30 at night at that point, 11:45, and he knew exactly what he needed to be done. He just walked right off and he waved at the boys, "Let's go. We got to go.
Bedtime.
It's bedtime. We got to go. I told you guys I was going to end this, and let's go." That was a pretty cool moment.
When he decided to put the team on his back together, motivate the boys, and then let's get out of here. There's work to be done still.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give your younger self?
Here. Yeah.
Now that you're here sitting across from old Riff Glitcherts?
Not really. I don't. That way that I had for myself.
I wonder if you've ever met a player throughout your hockey journey, either a teammate or someone you coached. Is there a player that might have gone through some tough times and maybe thought that their path on the road to hockey success had come to an end, but through you or through their own belief were able to overcome that and get over and get to the next level or make their goal?
Yeah. A player who comes in mind is Jacob Kane. I coached him for 3 years with the Vitoes in my last as an assistant coach with Alex, and Jacob came in as a small little forward. We knew he was good, small little forward and 200 foot, and I kind of pushed around a little bit this first year, being as a little smaller player, and got passed over the first year. And the second year he came back again. Everybody has their different stage of growth, and came back. He's 5'10" and putting about 20 pounds and starting to play, and like maybe I think he scored like 25 goals that year as a 16-year-old. Was undrafted and didn't get drafted in the Maritime League also, and it was like, and when the season ended, he was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I want to quit. Maybe I won't play hockey anymore. I might just go back to school. And I remember that draft. It was during COVID. We were all in Gatineau, and our GM looked at us and they were like, "Boys, we need to fill some rosters and a roster spot, and we have enough for this year, but like, anybody has a left centerman?" I go, "I got one." All right. So we drafted Jacob, came to camp in Gatineau, had a great camp, came back, was the captain as a 17-year-old with the Vitoes, had a fantastic year. And the following year, as an 18, he plays as an 18 and a 19-year-old, played 2 full years in major junior. That's awesome. And finished his career. And he started in Miramichi and then finished in Amherst. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Jacob Kane. Yeah. For me, I think he never quit. He always kept working. He always knew that he had something into him. He always kept pushing and grinding it out. And sure. At the end of the day, his hard work paid off. And he's a great kid. Great, again, when I say we need great persons around an organization, that's the definition.
That is interesting. I'm kind of glad you said that, because I thought about it earlier in this kind of chat with you when we were talking about scouting. It did pop into my head. I was like, I got to ask him about this. I was wondering if a scout has a say in those moments, like, or if a general manager of a team ever says, "Hey, do I have a guy?" and you can bring a name forward that then becomes in consideration. So it's like, there's someone that's off the radar totally, but it's someone that you've kind of scouted or looked at over the years, and can offer that name up and say, "Hey, I think we have a diamond in the rough here." Mm-hmm. That is something that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's like I said earlier, it's easy to, like, I've been part of, like, we've been fortunate in Gatineau being able to draft a lot of Maritimers. Like, I've been part of drafting Zach Dean, Sam Savoie, Carter Richardson, the goalie, and even though he never played for us, he has a great career right now in the NCAA. It's just, those are the easy guys.
Yeah.
Finding the diamonds in the rough, that's what makes our job, I find, really rewarding as a scout. That, help the team in a certain way. Maybe a very small part of just because I spoke up or somebody else.
Someone has to believe in you, coach. Someone's got to believe at some point.
Exactly.
I'm glad I had a chance to sit down and chat with you, and hope you'll like the product that we're able to put out here on the Tactical Take.
I want to thank you. That was awesome. Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome, Coach.
Yeah,
well,
it was
we'll
a
see
cool
you here
chat.
after the summer, and we're going to get after it one way or another.
100%.
All right, we'll see you.